Fuck. Neuronymous.
Hey, boys and girls, this is another episode of Neuronymous. My name is Hal, and I am really excited to be on the show today. Well, who else is going to be on the show today? It's my show. How about that? Yeah, I got the dog tuckered out by the couch. Actually, he's on the couch. Our dog, Jasper, who's a special needs case, if there ever was one. And it's been a fun. Well, the day started out kind of shitty. My wife and I kind of had a blowout because I didn't catch her text messages in time, and the shit hit the fan, and yada yada yada, and we're good now. But I sometimes I have a tendency to put the podcast first over my marriage, and that doesn't sit very well. And as well it shouldn't, because my wife is my biggest passion project, as I've said before in the past. So I gotta do a better job of being in the moment, being present. Because that's what a marriage is. You gotta be. It's a two-part. It's not a one-way street. It's a two-way street. So there's that. And then I had a buddy of mine come over, and we started watching the movie Bad Times at the El Royale, and I gotta tell you, man. It's fucking amazing. I haven't finished it yet, but so far, so fucking good. All right? And then my friend Stacy came over and played with the dogs with me for a little while. The puppies downstairs. Stormfly, my wife's favorite, went to a home last night. It was very, very emotional for Amanda. This has been very hard for her, as and it's been tough for me. Like I said, I've kind of grown to love them. I really do. I'm gonna miss them. Maybe not the chaos or the poop and the pee, but I'm gonna miss them. I'm gonna miss having a little bunch of feet going pitter patter. Even if it's not on our unfinished cement slab of a basement. But anyway, today we got a great show. We got a great guest. Her name is Elsie Abrahamson, and we'll see if I got the name right this time. I think it's becoming kind of a running gag that I always butcher the name of my guest. So we'll see how it goes. I don't know a lot about her. She performed stand-up the night I hosted at the Coffee Hag, and that's really all I know. I think she had. Her hair was like, it wasn't like cornrows, but it was like kind of dreadlocky, and that's really all I know about her. She was very funny, very sweet, and and I'll be honest, so far I'm really pleased that by her behavior thus far. Most of the stand-up comedians I've had on the show, with all due respect to them, have been smokers, and I don't know if she's a smoker or not. But I told her, just one rule, if you do smoke, don't smoke a cigarette before you come before you come into the house. Just don't. Because I'm the one who's going to catch the heat about it from the fuzz, also known as my wife. And she was like, yeah, absolutely no problem, So and I also told her, make sure you text me before you ding the doorbell or knock on the door, because my dog is obviously again a beast. Good old Jasper and his special needs. So yeah, I don't have a lot to say as far as an intro goes. I've been thinking a lot about my episode yesterday that I had, and listening to it, I don't know if it was the right thing to do to post that. And I'm struggling with it, and I don't know whether or not I should keep it or just take it down. Because that's really, this podcast isn't supposed to be like a hate fest, or like, it's not supposed to be, it's not supposed to be like all hippy-dippy, lovey-dovey, kumbaya, but it's not supposed to be like me, bitching at, out somebody because I have a mic and they don't. That's not the way it should work. And maybe I should have taken the high road. And and that whole thing with his mother, that was a low blow, man. And like I said, I think I may very well go and delete that part. I don't know if it's too late. I don't know if the damage is done, but time we shall soon find out. And but as far as whether or not we remain friends because I wouldn't give him weed, and that's in my higher powers hands, not mine. It just that I just know that I couldn't do that. That's just not part of who I am anymore, as I said. So anyway, I'm just gonna cut out a little bit early today as far as the intro. We got puppies downstairs still that need attention, and frankly, I gotta use the bathroom. I mean, I'm just laying my cards out there. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to our guest. I think this might be no, never mind. I was gonna say my first female guest here at the house, at my house, my residence, but no, Fardosa Jama was here, so I can't say that. Sorry, Elsie, you are not. You're special, but you're not first female guest at the house special, but you are very special. We're really happy to have you on the show, and I will be bringing you out here in just a few seconds. All right. You know what? I got the name right. I'm so excited. It's the first time I've gotten my guest. Honestly, it's the first time I've gotten my. I know. I should do my research, right? That's pretty bad, right?
Not everybody has the way to pronounce their names on Facebook, though.
Yeah, it's true. I had Fardosa Jama on the show, and I kept even after she told me, I kept saying Fardusa, Farusa, and by the end of the show, I was just you want to be you can be the host. You should be the host. She should have the podcast. And now that I'm thinking about it, this is a really weird arrangement that we have on the table. I've got scissors and I've got lotion on the table. And this is a perfect sound to the lamb situation that we've got.
Yeah, it's actually great. Well, maybe you just had a fresh tattoo.
You know what? Jews don't get tattoos.
Wow, really?
Yeah, did you know that?
I did not.
Nah, most people don't. Don't worry about it. Yeah, my aunt would beg to argue but she's a rare bird and I love her. But yeah. So basically, they basically think if you are tattooed, you're marked and unclean, and
you're marring your God's temple, which is your body.
Yes, exactly. And see. And I kind of want to be buried with my wife, and she's Jewish, and I mean,
if you got a tattoo, you couldn't be buried next to her.
In theory, no. I mean, if we're really pulling out the big gun Jewish laws, which there are a lot of, then yeah, I wouldn't be. I'd be all by my lonesome. Yeah.
My knowledge of Judaism is mainly more liberal Jews.
Yeah, I know. I was brought up as a conservative Jew, which doesn't mean much at this point for me. But
as far as conversion goes for Judaism, what's your religion's view on that?
Well, I was born conservative. I was born a Jew. My wife, however, was converted to Judaism. So she is a lot more conservative than I am. I always say she's a much better Jew than I have ever been. And I think it's because that they have to go through all the research and they have to do all the studying, and she knows all that stuff. They have to know all that stuff in and out before they can actually, before they become, basically the final step in the conversion process is this thing called the mikveh, which is a bath where you have to you can't have any nail polish, you can't have any jewelry, you can't have any polish on your fingers or anything like that, and you take this bath, and I don't know if somebody's watching, which is kind of weird, But you basically go in there and you go in and you come out and you're a Jew, you know. So
there's a group of Jews though, like I don't know if it's a faction of the religion that there's only a certain number of Jews alive, right? Therefore, if you're not born into a Jewish family,
right,
you wouldn't technically be able to be Jewish.
Yeah, I know.
Is that just like a different?
I don't know, but I kind of say fuck that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Do you care if I curse on the show?
No.
Do you curse?
Yeah.
All right.
Well, I would say, yeah, I use cuss words.
Yeah.
I try not to swear.
Okay. No, that's
if that makes sense. Do you understand that?
Totally, you don't use the Lord's name in vain.
Right. Or like as far as cursing goes, like condemnation, like using damn. I try not to do that just because I feel like, you know, I don't really want to condemn anything to hell, and I feel like that would be a bad place to end up. Yeah. So I try not to use that word.
Yeah. No, I totally get it. You know, in Judaism, I did learn though in Judaism, I don't know how the heck? Jesus. Oh my God.
I don't care if other people say it. It's it's just a personal choice of my own.
Totally. In Judaism, I found out there are like two forms of hell. There's like one that's like absolute, like a void. It's like black, dark, cold. The darkness is so like dense, it's like tangible, and you're just basically there for all eternity. And then there's your standard issue, fire and brimstone. And I've always said I kind of prefer the fire and brimstone version simply because at least it's kind of warm, you know, like the weather's always nice. It's like I kind of wonder if that's why like old Jews go to Florida, you know, and they
to get closer to hell.
To get a little closer to hell when they're done. But,
is that specifically an old Jew thing, or just like a snowbird elderly people go somewhere where their joints don't hurt?
I don't know. That's probably it. I mean, all I know is that all of my relatives at one point or another lived in Florida, and then they couldn't take care of each themselves, and then they went to Atlanta. So
interesting. I was just in Florida.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous. I mean, when you go to Florida and then you come back to this, I mean, you gotta feel pretty shitty. Like you gotta be like, oh
definitely.
Man,
it's not. It was not the best experience to come back. I loved it there. We were in Pensacola, so that's like in the Panhandle, close to Alabama.
Oh, okay.
So it was 60s, 70s, kind of rainy, a little bit of sun here and there. But I'd take that weather over this any day.
Oh yeah,
not.
You'd have to be you know. You'd be have to be like Jasper not to.
Right.
Special needs. I was about to say, oh my God, this is terrible. This is a terrible episode. All right.
It's a post-production sport.
No, you know what? I here's the thing. I tend to leave everything in because except for like my intros and my outros, because I just think, you know, whatever happens during the interview, it's just loose, it's fun, you know.
Yeah, but for sure.
So last time I think I saw you, and it was the first time I ever saw you, and that was like when I hosted that. I dreadfully hosted that comedy show. That was bad. That was I still like I still to this day am like, man, Esther was probably like scratching her head. Why the hell did I get this guy? Like, and I haven't been on since. I haven't gone on stage since.
By choice? Or did they put a permanent ban on you?
They should have, but by choice, yeah. I hide cowardly behind a mic now to do all my material, you know. So
that's fine.
But yeah, no, it wasn't a bad show. I mean, besides me, it was a great show.
We're all our largest critics.
Yeah,
I guess
we
I would
really
say.
are. But I mean, what about you? I mean, and I'll be honest, I don't remember what. I remember I laughed a lot, but I don't remember what it was that what your material was. But I mean, first off, I guess, why comedy? Why do you do it?
I think as a person, I like to make people laugh.
Yeah.
Like, I like to bring joy to people, put out positive energy. I think, like, one of your roles as a human being in life is to be good to others and to, like, I think that having like that positive aspect or putting positive spins on things is the healthiest way to handle them. Yeah. I personally chose stand-up comedy, and it was the first time I did it was awful. Yeah. It was at the Coffee Hag, and it was a mixed open mic, and this was probably 2.5, maybe 3 years ago. Yeah. And I had prepared some material, but I have really bad social anxiety, so I decided to do...
Me too.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, it's a great thing to live in.
It's terrible. It's the worst.
Yeah. After I turned 18, I was able to get on medication for it. And because my family is like, oh, medication's evil, it'll change who you are.
Is that right?
That's how my family viewed it. They thought it would mess with you as a person and your mental chemical balance would be thrown off, even though it kind of fixes it. So take it for what it is.
Yeah, totally.
After I got on my medication for a while, my panic attacks decreased. And once I still felt panic, but I wasn't like completely incapacitated by it. So I decided that to be able to learn, if I wanted to get off medication at some point, I wanted to be able to learn how to handle my panic. So I decided that the best way to make myself feel extreme vulnerability would be to go up on stage and do something. And I'm not musically inclined, I guess. I love music, I enjoy it, but I can't sing, play an instrument. In fact, when I sing, I think God just wants me to stop because I lose my voice. Every single time I get laryngitis.
Yeah, wow. Were we like separated at birth? Because like I don't know how to play music. I can sing a little bit, like if I'm doing karaoke.
Yeah.
I haven't really done. I've done karaoke once since I entered sobriety like 8 years ago. But yeah, like I can't play a musical instrument. I tried to do the piano.
Yeah.
I had one
Same.
recital, and my role in that was to play Mary Had a Little Lamb.
Ooh.
And I fucked up Mary Had a Little Lamb. And I'm pretty sure my instructor, who was fairly young at the time, was pretty much like, I'm calling it quits. I can't. I clearly have no
musical retention.
Yeah, exactly. No way to teach this person the very easiest song in the world, which is Mary Had a Little Lamb.
I had a similar problem when I took piano lessons.
Yeah.
I started piano lessons and I don't remember how old I was.
Yeah.
But I have.
To know better.
Huh?
Old enough to know better.
Well, my mom was very adamant about having some kind of musical education.
Okay.
So she put us in piano lessons, and I have ADHD. I didn't know at the time. I just thought I thought that there was something wrong because I couldn't focus.
Yeah.
I guess when you're not educated about mental health, it's easy to think that there's something wrong with you.
Yeah.
And
absolutely.
once you know what's going on, you can take steps to better yourself. But I couldn't concentrate to play the piano. I couldn't concentrate to remember music. I couldn't memorize stuff as far as music goes. And in fact, I did write my own songs. I enjoyed music,
That's cool.
but I couldn't sit and learn in the educational structure that I was supposed to.
Right.
And I took it for, I don't remember how many years, 2 or 3, but my sister started a year after me. I have a younger sister who started a year after me. She's 2 years younger than me, and she surpassed my skill within her first year.
It, didn't she?
Yeah. She was 10 times better than me. My dad, fantastic at music. He could pick up any instrument and play it. Even if it's 2 different, what are the recorders?
Sure.
Yeah, 2 recorders. He could play them out of his nose and play different things on each hand. He's crazy musical talented. Taught himself different instruments. He'll make instruments. He is just he's awesome. Love my dad. But my mom, she learned how to play music. She learned how to sing, but I know it was a lot harder for her. Right. And I think that I got her genetics, but not her ability to concentrate and force herself to learn. She's very stubborn, so if she wants to do something, she will. Yeah. I stubborn in a different way.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But I couldn't figure out how to play music.
Yeah. My mom is a former opera singer. So
wow.
She was really, and she gives singing lessons and stuff like that, and she can kind of play the piano just enough to get by. And my dad and I were simultaneously taking piano lessons. He did better than me. I have a problem, anything involving numbers or math or anything where there's a sheet of paper with symbols on it. Forget it. It's I just my brain just can't comprehend it. I was in special ed math and stuff like that. So seeing music on a sheet. Yeah. That was just my head may as well have exploded. It could have been in a horror movie. My head just. Yeah. Yeah. My wife makes fun of me because anything involving numbers, tools, science, measurements, I leave to her. She's the brains of our operation. I can do like I can I'm shocked that I even learned how to use this mic. Like honestly, this all this like the equipment. Well, my wife bought the laptop, but you know the audio. See, I don't even know how to describe it. The software.
There you go.
The software, Audacity. Yeah. I self-taught myself that.
That's good.
Like I had no idea how to do it. Like,
did you use YouTube?
People sent me some YouTube videos, and I'm totally a kinesthetic learner. Like I can't. Like you can tell me how to do something until you're blue in the face, or try and send me messages and blah blah blah, and it's just not going to happen until I just fuck around.
It has to click.
Yeah, it has to click. Yeah, I just have to keep doing it.
I can relate to that
when I was
different levels.
At my job, the monolith, as I like to call it, because it's not because I don't like to say where I work.
Fair enough.
But you know, like when I was in training towards the end, they were calling it HR because like I was not passing any of the assessments because it was all training, classroom training, right? Mm-hmm. And like I just wasn't passing it, and you know, it wasn't until they actually like put me on, you know, the phones where I was just like a rocket, you know, like it was just I just kept having to do it and do it and do it, and then sooner or later, like I just like people they were just like, wow, what happened to him? Like,
right, it finally clicks.
Like, you just have to take me out of a classroom setting and just let me dink around with things.
Definitely not the most fantastic at classroom setting.
Yeah, no, I have ADHD too.
Yeah.
I didn't find that out until later in life. I also have like clinical depression, bipolar disorder 2, generalized anxiety disorder. So that's why I fist bumped you because I'm just like, God, we're fucked up.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, there's definitely something on up there.
Absolutely. No, I mean, like, and then a couple days ago, like, somebody, like, a friend who's no longer a friend, it's a long story, basically was like, one day you're going to realize, because I had Drew Heher on the episode.
Oh, you got his last name right, too. Good for you.
Oh, there was some practice involved.
I bet.
Yeah, I got his last name because he taught me his last name. Yeah, I had Drew Heher on the show last week, and he reeked of marijuana, and and that's totally cool. I kind of expected that, and I had this friend, and I did a whole bitch fest episode yesterday on it, and this friend was like, "Wait a second, you'll let some." He was like, my friend wanted me to connect him to Drew because he thought that somehow I'd be able to get him hooked up with weed. And I'm like, first off, I'm in recovery, man. Like, if I can't connect the mother of your child to somebody who's like, you know, who may or may not have marijuana, that's a relapse for me. That's like old addict behavior. Like,
right.
Oh my God, my dog loves you. This is you've made my day. All right. Anyway,
maybe I'm an animal whisperer and didn't know it.
Maybe you are. It could be. Maybe you could stop all the puppies downstairs from their babies. They if there's anybody that's gonna like have an
your
accident.
dog almost acts like a cat as far as love goes.
Does he really?
Yeah.
He's that's my boy. Yeah, he's neurotic. He's extremely neurotic.
Can I pick him up?
You can try. Yeah. Oh my God, this is the first. Ladies and gentlemen, all right. I was gonna say that originally in my intro, I said you were the first female guest that I've had in the house, but that's not true. It was Fardosa. So I said you're not special, Elsie. I'm sorry, but you're a very special guest anyway. But now you are the very first female or anybody to pick up Jasper and hold him in our house. Wow. Period.
By his choice?
By his choice. Theirs? By his choice. He's allowing you to do that.
Yes, definitely.
I've never seen that happen. I'm trying not to get emotional because this is like a special moment for me because this has never happened. So all right, we've dwelled on this for like what 5 minutes now about Jasper being held by another person. All right. Anyway, moving on. So you wanted to be vulnerable, so you decided to be a stand-up comic.
Yeah. I figured that if I was going to foresee a future of me doing things off medication, then I should be able to learn to cope better.
Yeah.
And I decided that stand-up comedy was going to be the way to do it. And I didn't know much about comedy. I didn't know much about stand-up. Just don't really know anything about that in general.
Can I take a photo?
Of course. I just decided I'm gonna do it. I went up and it was terrible. I talked about, it was just this story about this creepy guy who followed me around at a party once.
I was not there. Just kidding.
No, and it was just like, it was supposed to be, it could have been told in a funny way. It did not work.
Really?
It made everyone really uncomfortable because it's like one of those rapey stories.
Yeah, people don't like rapey.
I mean, rapey stories aren't great. It definitely wasn't something I should have used the first time I tried to do stand-up, but I had a panic, you know? And so I just jumped into a story I was familiar with telling, and it went, and then I did it again the next month, and then I continued to, and then they did a comedy show.
Wait, so that wasn't a comedy show?
That was a mixed open mic.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, I was like...
It was really bad because Esther walked up there and she said, "Who wants to laugh? The next guest is a stand-up comic."
Oh gosh, yeah. Go Esther. Esther, she really knows how to do it. She's the person that gave me my start in quote unquote show business. This isn't really this is a podcast, but yeah, no. So
yeah,
so you bombed the first time.
Oh yeah, it was great, and then. A while later, they did a comedy show, and I met Nate and Trev.
Yeah.
And they introduced me to comedians in the cities I met. Like, I think Eric did his first stand-up there, and ever since then, like, I met a good group of friends, and everywhere I go... So, everywhere I go now, I try to do stand-up. It's also a way to make friends, because if you have social anxiety, which you do... But anyone listening can relate to the fact that it's hard to, like, start conversations with people. It's hard to, like, figure out whether you're able to talk to somebody, you know? Right. So it's hard to find something in common. Like, first conversations are hard. Meeting people, making friends, all of that's really difficult. Yeah. So it makes it easier for me if I'm in a new location. Like, I did a semester abroad in India, and the only way I was able to really connect with people, like, local Indian people, was to go to some open mics. And I met a lot of really great people, and I'm still like friends with them. That's awesome. Absolutely loved it, and got to experience the comedy scene in India, which is really cool.
Yeah, wow, that's a really cool story. Like, so how long were you in India? 4 months. I did it for my spring semester last year. Wow. Okay. So what were you majoring in?
Media arts. I'm still in school right now.
Oh, cool. Yeah, I graduated in communications. I print journalism, but that didn't pan out. Like, I tried. I've learned that, like, I just don't have a knack for hard news. Like, you know, I like doing feature stories. I like writing about people. I like talking about people and reviewing movies and pop culture and all that kind of junk. But yeah, hard news just never. I never had a knack for it. It's just not. It doesn't make me. It doesn't satisfy me. So you're a media. Like, what can you tell me a little bit more about?
So my emphasis is video production.
Okay.
I don't really know how I ended up there. Okay. Just kind of happened. I was gonna go for nursing. I have kind of weird joints, so I decided that maybe something that's very hard on your body is not a great career path for me.
Right.
And I know nurses go through a lot, and it's very, like, academically competitive. Yeah. And because I'm not always super academically inclined, right, I figured I'd switch it up, and I landed on media arts, that's which cool. I love the arts.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like, just.
Are you a movie person?
No, I don't really watch movies.
Wow, really? So, I mean, as far as media arts, I mean, is there anything specifically, that you do? I don't know much about media arts.
I really enjoy aspects of graphic design.
Okay.
I particularly like the way that film or video as a medium is able to portray emotions. Like, you can read something in a history textbook. Yeah. Like the Japanese internment camps, for instance. Oh, yeah. I read about them growing up. Yeah. Didn't know that much about them. Like, right. You're like, oh, well, we did this terrible thing to people. Right. You know? But at the Speechless Film Festival, which happens at the Verizon Center in town. whatever that area is called.
Yeah.
Downtown. It happens downtown every year.
Downtown. We gotta finish it, right?
Oh yeah.
You just can't just not continue.
Right. Wow, two ADHD people is just such a great mix.
This is awesome.
But yeah, so I saw this short, and it's just like short films from all over the world, and it was made by, and I don't remember the director's name, but it was part of a group called Hidden Histories, a group of shorts, and they use them for educational purposes, like showing them in schools, but it was awesome. It was called The Orange Story, and it was a short about these families and how the internment camps like actually affected them. Wow. And it was so emotionally pulling, and because you have visuals, because you have music, you're able to communicate emotions on another level than you can almost any other medium.
Right.
You know, and I just absolutely, like, I was so taken aback by that, because being able to touch people in that way and, like, communicate things in that way, because I've never been great at communication, you know?
Right. Doing great, for the record.
Oh, thanks. But me being able to try to explain my issues or, like, explain my viewpoint, I'm a bit stubborn, so sometimes they come off as standoffish, rude, all of those things. But because, after I saw that, I was like, I would love to be able to take a situation that I find, like, either interesting or, like something that we don't fully understand, that we learn in class or whatever, and be able to translate it into this thing, and then people could better understand it. And I want people to have more understanding for each other. Like, that's something, I guess, like, a goal in my life is to help people understand each other more.
Yeah, I've always said in my throughout my whole life, if the world were able to communicate better with one another, if people in this world, we'd have so many less problems. If people just knew how to talk or somehow communicate what they're, you know, in such a way that everybody could understand each other, you know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm not, you know, like, and that sounds so, like, kind of like, everybody spoke American, you know, but, like, no, but I mean, if everybody, like,
if people listen to each other. Yeah,
exactly.
More.
If everybody could listen to each other. I work in customer service, you know, so, I mean,
you gotta listen to a lot.
You gotta listen to a lot. And,
but I think, like, being able to properly communicate what you're trying to say is the other half of that, and because there's that barrier in human beings, that adds to a lot of conflict.
Yeah, right, and that's the thing, like, with customer service, like, I used to think to myself, like, I used to work for another large company, Marriott. I just don't talk about the one I work for now. You know, I would work in that help/information desk at the reservation center, right? And like, there'd be above us, there would be customer service, which is like, and people ask for a supervisor, that's who we'd send them to, and I'd be like, and I was always like, man, I am way too thin-skinned to work in customer service. I just couldn't handle it, and here I am, customer service, like, doing it for 6 years, and I'm like, and it's like, it's really weird because working in such a field has helped me. It's helped my marriage. It's actually helped me in so many different aspects of my life because I've learned to handle conflict. You know what I mean? And been able to, like, you know, kind of like you said, that you're just able to communicate things better. Do you need to take that?
No, I just need to text back.
Okay, well, that's cool. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, I just, for me, just learning how to communicate and as we say in my line of work, position things. You know, it's just something you gotta learn how to do, and I think empathy is a huge part of it too. You know, like, you can communicate something till you're blue in the face, but if you can't put yourself in their shoes, a person's shoes, and, you know, try and do the whole walk a mile in their shoes type thing, I mean, it's just not gonna happen. You know, but yeah, I mean, but as far as stand-up comedy, I mean, what do you? I mean, you've obviously, you've made a lot of friends. What would you say? I mean, now that you've been around the block,
not really.
Not really. No?
I mean, I'm still, like, I guess, wet behind the ears when it comes to comedy.
Nate said that too.
Yeah.
He goes like, "Don't build me up like I'm this great comic being," and I'm just like, "I'm sorry."
It's tough because there's a lot of saturation in the land of stand-up comedy, especially around here.
Yeah.
And I've had a lot of different experiences doing it, but I wouldn't say I'm well versed in it. I don't even know how to actually write jokes.
Yeah.
I just tell ridiculous stories, mainly true, that have happened. Like, you know, you always add a little bit to this and that, but I try to be like, even in my sets, I think it's important to hold on to the truth, because the truth is hilarious sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, as I've said in many episodes, like, you know, a lot of comedy comes from pain. You know, stories that are painful. Yeah. Like, you know, my wife and I, we've been trying to have a kid for ages, and you know, and that.
Yeah, I heard that on one of your other podcasts, and I was lurking.
Were you?
Yeah.
You listen? You listen to me?
I was lurking.
You were lurking. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. It's good to have some lurkers. Yeah. Yeah. We've been trying to have a kid, and you know, like I said, and but yeah, I mean, I've compared my wife's genitalia to Ferngully, the Last Rainforest. I mean, that was like the very first time I ever did stand up, and it got a good laugh. And I had to run it by my wife before I did.
Right. I mean, that's always important.
Yeah. Exactly. You know, like, you know, because the thing is, if you do stand up, I mean, you're not just I've made whole families walk out before. Like I like.
Wow.
Yeah, I was actually pretty pleased by that, to be honest.
So offensive.
Well, the thing is, like, you know, like, first off, why do you have why is the cast of Seventh Heaven at my show? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, it was just like a whole family, and they were just like, they whispered to Esther, "Is he gonna be like this the whole time?" And she was like, and I had been performing there a few times before.
Was that the show where we had to, like, warn the people that there were kids?
That.
That it wasn't for kids, then we had to rebrand it as the adult comedy show for adults.
Well, I know that we didn't do it for when I hosted, but so I think it probably was later down the line, but they probably should have done that.
Yeah, I mean, it's been rebranded now.
Yeah, that's what I heard. I heard you guys put signs all over the windows and stuff like that, and
just to make sure we don't offend people.
You know, and that's I think that's probably I think it's a classy thing to do. I mean, you know, because people do go. I mean, it is a place where more people are likely to bring their family to, as far as, like, you know, it's not like
that versus like a bar.
Exactly. It's not like a bar. You know, you're not gonna you don't see people buying, you know, like, you know, Jack and Coke. You know, you're getting like a, you know, like a latte, you know, or like hot cocoa or something like that. I remember my favorite drink. They don't have that as far as at the coffee. They don't have it anymore. Was the peanut butter mocha frappe.
Interesting.
Oh, it was so good. It was like chocolate mocha peanut butter frappe. Yeah. I used to get like 2 of those at once. Like I would drive, because I used to have to work. I worked at St. James. At the St. James Plain Dealer.
You just
they're
shout out to everybody I've worked for.
Oh my god, they're pieces of shit in that town. I'm sorry if well, not everybody. A certain person. Very anti-Semitic, very small town mentality. Yeah. Don't like it there.
I mean, I grew up outside of a very small town, so I understand the, I guess, way that small towns function is the best way to put it. I understand that.
I just remember I was a reporter, and I was interviewing a person of Latino descent, and is it Latino descent?
Latin descent. It would be Latin, unless it was a male, particularly.
Yeah. Well, all right. So I was interviewing this guy. He had a Mexican restaurant. He was outside, and I had to do man on the street interviews, you know, for each issue. And I said, you know, if you could change one thing about the town, what would it be? And he said, it'd be really nice if, like, the police would stop, you know, picking up, you know, me and my family, and, you know, stopping us. And I put that in the interview, and, like, the police decide, like, as to rebut, like, apparently they took that as like a sign of, like, aggression somehow, and they were like, well, the person that you interviewed has a record this long, and blah blah blah, blah. And it turns out they had the wrong person so they didn't even get that right. But I get called into my boss's office, and he's a complete douche-a-rama. And he says to me, like, these are his exact words: "You need to start interviewing more white people." And I was like, I'm I'm sorry. Just say that again. What did you say? And he was like, you need to start interviewing more white people. And I was like, okay, I need to find someplace else. Because he also referred to me once as a little Jew.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't, as much as I love going into, strangely enough, they actually had like the best Chinese food restaurant I've ever been to in St. James. It was just.
I'll remember that if I ever pass through St. James.
Oh my god! And it's like right when you get into St. James, it's like I don't know. It's just, and it's literally only called China Restaurant, but people call it China Dave's because the owner is named Dave. But they would let me just I'd be like, I don't have any money. They'd be like, here, we'll just write your number on the put it on the board, and when you come in next, you can pay us. And I was like, is this for real? But
that is one thing I love about small towns is because there is a sense of community, and it depends where you are, and how. I think that I would say, as far as whether it's anti-Semitic or just racist, small towns get a bad rep for that, and I totally get why, because there is that vibe in a lot of the places. But I think that the bigger issue is, it is twofold. There's people are ignorant about a lot of stuff in small towns just because you don't have the exposure,
right?
But then I feel like because I don't want to say ignorant in an insulting way, maybe naivety.
Naivety, sure.
But because it'll have been passed down through generations, and whether it's I think it was my great-great-grandma, she hated Japanese people because of Pearl Harbor.
Oh, sure.
Because of the war, because we had family killed in that. But during the internment camps, my great-great-aunt, I think then, I don't remember. I have one of my relatives had met this man while she was volunteering at the internment camp, and after he was released, they fell in love. Oh. And I don't know for how long, but her mother could not look at that man.
Oh, really?
And it wasn't because she didn't like him, but it was because of the experiences that had happened in her lifetime. Right. And I think that sometimes that kind of animosity or whatever will get passed down in generations just because there's not new experiences to cover that up.
Yeah, I mean, I remember, back in the day, my mom threatened me. She used to threaten me all the time, that if I didn't marry somebody Jewish, she wouldn't come to my wedding. And, that's, the worst thing to say to, your son. If, and this is completely off, it's a little off topic of what you were saying, but, my mom, I've discussed this. She has a very open dislike for people of Arab descent, because Freudian slip. My mom, I know, right? I know.
Honestly,
I do it all the time. It's so terrible. Do you have a certain time limit? Do you have to be on?
No, I just wanted to see if someone said message me back.
Yeah. So my mom is very pro-Israel, right? Mm-hmm. I get it. And I mean, Israel's awesome, but my mom is just they built a mosque, right maybe a few blocks away from their house, and my mom just is gone apeshit about it, and I'm just my mom was they should spray paint. Somebody should spray paint. I was are you fucking kidding me? What is wrong with you? You can't say it. I mean, you can say that. I mean, it's America, but you can't just do. Are you listening to what you're saying? And it's not we're I'm from a small town, because granted, I'm from Nebraska, but I'm from Omaha, Nebraska, which is the biggest metropolitan there. People always make fun of me, oh yeah, you're from Nebraska. Okay, you cornbread. And I'm just dude, Omaha is the biggest metropolitan area. It's so weird because and
it's very diverse too.
Yeah,
there's a lot of immigration in it too, which is really cool.
There's a huge Jewish population in Omaha.
Really? Yeah, see, I didn't know that.
Yeah, it's huge. They've got Hasidic, Chabad is what they call it. which is like the really Jewy Jews.
Is it the ones with the...
Yeah, exactly, the payas. Yeah, so they have those, and my mom has been going to like not trainings, but like less like classes and stuff like that, because and my mom, she's Jewish by blood as well, but like she's becoming Jewier. Like, do you find Jewey funny?
I think the term Jewier is entertaining.
Jewy, it sounds like a juice box. Like, it's like
I
Jewey.
was thinking like a Jewy thing would be like, what are those
Chinese
things?
food on Christmas? Just kidding.
No, the like gushers.
Oh,
like,
yeah,
if I had
yeah.
to make up like
the gushers.
adjective like Jewy, because they're juicy and gooey, so Jewy, right?
Yeah.
So she's becoming more Jewish.
Yes, she's become a lot more conservative, and it's just, I love my mom, but like I sometimes I just want to like grab her by the lapels. I don't even know if she wears. Maybe she's growing payos. I don't know. And just grab her by him and be like, "Oh my God, Arabs are good." There are I've never met one.
God made all the humans.
Exactly.
Aren't we supposed to love everyone?
Exactly. No, exactly. And I was talking to Fardosa, Jama, about this, and she was like, "Well, how you're in the media now. You're in it now. Like, how are you gonna? How can you be the change?" And I was just like, "Damn, bitch, you just hijacked my interview." That's the thing. Like, I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know. There's literally nothing I could say. My parents love Trump. My mom loves Trump. My dad's kind of like one of those I'm just not going to vote for Hillary. He didn't like consciously be like, "Oh, Trump's the guy. He's our man." He was just like, "I'm just not going to vote for Hillary."
Yeah.
Whereas my mom was just like, "Trump's pro-Israel. I'm voting for him. He's amazing." And I'm just like, you do realize that if he had the chance, he'd grab your pussy, right? You do grasp that knowledge, right? He's been overheard saying these things, and like
you grasp his grasp.
You grasp his grasp. Very well played.
It's not great.
Well, no, well played. Well played. You just I don't know, like he I don't understand how my mom could like somebody like that, because I have she has a disabled son. I have a disability. I was born. Wait a second. I wasn't born with anything. When I was 7, I had something called Guillain-Barré syndrome. I've talked about that on the show. But I was paralyzed from the head down when I was 7 because I had a really shitty immune system. And some people.
Does she not vaccinate you?
It's not covered by the. It's not. Probably.
Sorry.
She's not covered. No. It's all good. It's actually not covered by the polio vaccine. But it is. People compare it to polio, but in fact,
I think I've heard of this. Is it like?
It's actually what FDR actually had. Franklin.
Really?
Yeah. He actually had Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Interesting.
It was not actually polio. And at least that's what my mom and dad tell me. So maybe they're just. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to make me feel better about myself.
Right. Yeah.
He could be president and deny a lot of Jews into the country when they're trying to emigrate.
Right.
Yes. Anyway.
Wow, love-hate relationship with FDR.
Yeah.
Did you say FDR?
FDR. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you say you have a love-hate relationship?
No, I said you do.
He
doesn't like Jews immigrating, but he had Guillain-Barré syndrome too. So
right.
I mean,
yeah, no, exactly, no. There's a duality there.
Yeah. No, that's not correct.
I'm picking up what you're laying down. I got you.
Literal terms, literary.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I took a poetry class. Well, creative writing once. It was entertaining.
Yeah, I minored in theater, so like that's fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's but no, it's like I don't know. Like I don't know how to deal with my parents. I love talking with my dad. I can talk to my mom once a week. I'll talk to my dad multiple times a week, but I can talk to my mom like maybe once a week because I'm a pretty mellow person at this point with meds on. Like I'm like you'd be shocked, Elsie, at like how like every Saturday my wife and I we like have to bring our pills down from upstairs, and like we have all like 3 little like of those morning.
Oh, that is
afternoon,
so cute.
And evening. I know it's like
what a sweet bonding time.
It is. It's like we're like.
I love that. I think that's adorable.
Isn't that cute? Like and
it's like mutually responsible too.
Exactly, right? And like it's just like we both have to take our pills when we're supposed to. But like mine, like at the end, like if I take them, I usually take mine around 7:30 because if I take them any later, I can't wake up and then I probably piss myself in bed. I don't know, but that could happen. It's a possibility.
I mean,
it's all right. It's happened. Anyway, but no, like they zonk me out, right? Mm-hmm. And like I just, but I also take like diazepam in the like twice a day. I take gabapentin, which is really weird because that's like a like for nerve pain, but yet my like nurse practitioner, psychiatrist, what have you, prescribes that for my anxiety, and it works. It works, but like but she's also like I love her. I think she's great, this person. But like I've said this before, like anytime I say anything, she'll be like, "Are you manic right now?" And I'm like, "What?
Can I just be happy?"
Yeah, like I told her about my podcast, and she was like, "Are you manic right now?" I'm like, "No, I'm fucking passionate. It's called passion. It's not there. There's no.
You don't need to treat my passion.
You don't have to treat my passion. There's no medical condition. It's called pure joy, and I've never had it before in my life.
Just let me be happy.
Well, except when I got married to my wife, I have to put that in there. And
yeah. I'm sure.
We did it. We enjoyed it so much. We got married twice. Like we got married legally because she needed benefits. That sounded really bad. That sounded way weird. But then we got married in a synagogue, and we did the whole smashing of the glass.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, it took me at least 3 times because of my Guillain-Barré syndrome problem. Yeah, like I was like, son of a bitch, motherfucker. The rabbi was not very happy with that.
Oh, no, I've heard that swearing in holy places is frowned upon.
I probably should have figured out I was an alcoholic at my wedding day because, they have this ritual where, like, the men... This is a totally Jewish thing. Are separated out from the groom is separated from the bride, which is actually pretty standard issue.
Yeah, in many religions.
Yeah, but basically what they do is you're at the end of a table and like you have like an audience, right? And like of all the guys that are in the wedding party or in the family, and they basically make jokes at you. I mean, they basically
roast you.
Yeah, they roast you exactly. And for every time they roast you, you take a drink, and they roasted the shit out of me. And like after a certain point, the rabbi was like, "Hal, that's enough." And I was like, "No, it's not." And he's like, "Hal, that's enough." And I'm like, "Okay." So it was. I probably should have figured out that I probably need a 12-step program directly after my wedding. Yeah.
Alcohol is a dangerous thing.
Yeah, so is cocaine. Yeah. I learned that too the hard way. Yeah.
Wow. I had a friend who burned a hole through his sinuses from doing too much cocaine.
Really? I'll tell you what. I might have done the same thing, and you'd think I might know this. I could probably get like a doctor, like a real actual medical doctor to find out if this is the case or not. But I'm just too fucking lazy to do it.
Right.
But like whenever I sneeze, my day is done. Like because like I don't know if I like fucking burned out my whole nasal cavity, but like if I sneeze, like drainage is just like I can't breathe the whole rest of the day. Yeah, it's. Really
I also have like a dislike for sneezing. I don't know why. Because I have a deviated septum, then it's more painful.
Is it? Yeah. Well, for me, like, and it's really bad too because like when I sneeze, it's like it's
the only time your sinuses drain.
It's yeah, it really is. And then like it's like I just go full on like fuck shit, god damn it, motherfucker, like like that
explosion.
I explode, not when I sneeze, but afterwards because I'm so angry that my day's ruined, basically. And
Why does that ruin your day?
Well, because that means I have to like deal with the whole with my customers, and like they'll be like, oh. And then I get called ma'am because I sound nasal, and I still get called ma'am.
So when you sneeze, it plugs your sinuses, or vice versa?
It plugs them. Like it's like I can feel them going like down.
They just start to drain.
Yeah, they start to drain. It's like they go down the wrong. It's like I drink something and it goes down the wrong tube. You know what I mean? It's weird.
Although sneezing, you should just think about it like the fact that it drains your sinuses means that you're less prone to a sinus infection.
Oh,
So it should make your day that you sneeze more.
You can leave now. Okay. I'm kidding. No,
I told you I'm a weird person about positive things.
No, that's I never even thought of it like that. And from now on, I think I should probably go see you for medical all medical problems. I'm going to go see Elsie Abrahamson.
I don't endorse this. Please do not come to me with your medical issues.
I'll call you like at 9. Like I think I cut myself on my wife like
super glue.
Super funny you should say that. I got a story for that too.
Oh yeah.
So we got the puppies downstairs, right? My wife has been like just total lack of sleep, you know, like, and she's just running on 3 to 5 hours of sleep a night, you know, which.
Due to the puppies,
okay. Because like they're crying, and, you know, they're just like they're little shits, you know, and they're and so basically I think because of this lack of sleep, she was opening up a can of wet dog food and she just sliced her finger like wide open, and it was bleeding, and like she was like, you don't want to see this, and I was like, we had an engagement to go to at like number 4, which is like my favorite restaurant in Mankato. It's like, I love it.
I've never been there.
You've
but
never
I know
been to
people
number
who
4?
work there.
Really?
No, not who work there. I know somebody who works somewhere else. Yeah, I've never been to number 4. I don't really eat out much.
They have these things called asparagus fries, and it's like beer battered asparagus. Ooh, so good.
But is the asparagus soggy then?
No, not at all. It's like perfectly.
I have like a small amount of concern for deep fried things, just because they sometimes have a tendency to get soggy. Even though the batter might be crispy. Right. And I couldn't.
These are like they're just the perfect.
Yeah.
Like perfect level of crunch and what? It sounds really disgusting now. Moisture. Thank you.
Juice. Yeah. I don't know.
Jewey juice.
So would you call those asparagus fries Jewey?
They're called as Jew fries.
Okay, now I think we're reaching another.
Yeah,
I think we did
a new plane. Yeah, we somehow
full 360.
I know this is the perfect way to do stand up. You go back to the beginning. All right, but So we had this engagement at for my wife's work at number 4, and she sliced her finger wide open, and like I said, I'm all about the food. I love food. They've got great appetizers whenever they have office party or whatever.
I was like slightly taken aback because I was still on your wife's thumb being sliced open and bleeding, and then you started talking about how much you love the food.
Yeah, that's exactly why I'm a terrible husband.
So you're sitting here like, hurry up, fix it so we can go eat.
That's pretty much exactly. Like, she was like, Hal, I know, and like she's like holding like a bloody like towel, and like,
right.
And I'm like, just glue the motherfucker open, you know.
Yeah.
And she's like, we are not going anywhere tonight, and like I'm just driving to Walgreens to get like Gorilla Glue or something. Yeah. It ended up just being new skin, and like she put a finger cop on, but like I was just like, my night's ruined. And I was like driving going, I was like, fuck, goddamn it, you know, like, but which goes to tell you, but here's the deal, I'm actually a pretty good husband. I mean, I pretty much
sounds like
no, you're absolutely right. I mean, this I've said this a million times. This is her test for me. Do you play sports? No. Do you watch sports? No. Okay, you're good. You passed the test.
So she's not a sports person.
Not a sports person at all. Neither, I'm not. I mean,
then it works perfectly. Plus, she's good at the mathematics and numbers, and you're good at something else.
Shit, you couldn't even name it. You're like, you're good. You're clearly not good at this podcast shit. Either.
I mean, you did say she bought the computer for you.
Well, we needed a computer, so we have very different. She's more the needs person of a family, of our family, or a little dynamic, and I'm more of the wants. You know what I mean? Like, I want Blu-ray movies. I want.
And she's like, but what do we need?
What do we need? Exactly.
Okay, so she's more logical and you're more emotional.
Yeah, she's like a Vulcan.
So you guys are the right and left side of a brain.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's why you work together so well.
That's right. No, like her phrase, and one day I will get a T-shirt for her with it saying, is, well, that makes no logical sense. And I'm just like, who, you fucking Spock? Like, do I look like fucking William Shatner? Like, are you Leonard Nimoy? Is that what's going on over here? Like, but yeah, like she's
is she a Trekkie?
No, she hates Star Trek, and she doesn't even. I think she's on the boat about Star Wars. You know, and the thing is, you know, I could give or take either one of them. Yeah. I mean, I like both of them, but if like I never saw one of them again, I wouldn't be like.
You take your wife over the movies.
Of course. Of course. Absolutely.
Well, that's good. Yeah. I condone your marriage now.
If you're like a Quentin Tarantino movie, she might have to work a little bit harder. Oh. Yeah, like I do. I like my Quentin Tarantino films.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and no.
Explains why you can like still want to go eat while your wife is bleeding out.
Bleeding out. It's like she like got her like leg caught in an auger or something like that. That's I actually knew somebody that happened to once.
Oh,
it was in
that
St.
sounds
James,
really
actually.
Unfortunate.
It was. He lost his leg.
Did you live in St. James or just work there?
I worked there. It was like
there a resident of St. James who's called Dan the Van Man, or is that Jamestown? Janesville?
I don't know.
I don't know. There's one of the ones with the J in it around this area. Has a guy called Dan the Van Man.
I don't know. I honestly, I couldn't tell you that. Elsie.
Write in comment if you know, because I'm curious.
Absolutely. If you know Dan the Van Man, he sounds like somebody from Silence of the Lambs. Like
interesting. Wow, we have a Silence of the Lambs kick happening right now.
We do. Like you got
the lotion, the scissors. Like he's got a bucket over here with a rope and a giant hole in the floor.
Do we have like? No. Do we have like something like lie somewhere hiding in the, you know, like
probably like, I don't know what you do. Maybe you like secretly are a tanner.
We got an iron over here.
An iron, perfect. You know, gotta iron out the skin.
Yes.
And this is obviously to like moisturize it after it's off the body.
Wow, we really do have a good setup here.
Yeah,
we could totally be serial killers if we wanted to be. Like, wow. This is, but you know, I think we've peaked. I think like we've just basically said that my household could be like a complete staging place for a serial murder.
If it makes you feel any better, I feel like anyone's could.
You know, honestly, there are times where
I think you may have too many windows, so scratch that. You're out.
Well, here's the thing. For the first year, there were no shades. Like, we lived in I was going to say, these look like really nice shades, like good quality. My wife, like, this, like, it was red. Like, it looked like barnyard red.
That's to cover up all the blood splatter. Yeah, exactly. Spray.
She painted, redid all the windows, everything, like, and she measured out the shades and installed them and everything.
Excellent.
But we were living in a fishbowl.
So, why do you have a Christmas tree if you're Jewish?
It's okay. Why do we? It's a Christmas tree.
Oh, perfect. Yeah. There you go. That makes sense. Now I understand.
Yeah, there you
go. Do you decorate it?
We decorate with Hanukkah decorations.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. So yeah.
Do you just put like little latkes inside gingerbread man?
That would probably start like an oil fire if we did that.
I mean, you don't need to set it on fire.
Oh yeah. No. It's just a big bush.
I don't know. As a kid, one of our like stories we would read around Hanukkah. I'm not Jewish, but we were exposed to different religions. But
I was kind of wondering because their last name is very Jewey. Again,
yeah, it's actually. I love my last name just because if you've read the Old Testament, Abraham means father of many.
Yeah.
So absolutely. My last name translates to son of father of many.
Wow. So
and it just cracks me up.
Basically, a guy has a lot of illegitimate children.
Or legitimate. I mean, my family is. Cracks me up.
How many kids? How many brothers, sisters do you have?
I have 9 siblings, so 10 if you count me. Yeah.
I'm an only child.
Yeah, it's a little different.
Yeah.
But
you don't say.
I think 5 generations ago, Abraham lived in. This is my Abraham, the one I'm named after. Yeah. My last name. He is from Norway.
Yeah.
And I think Martin was the son that came to the U.S. And because he would be Martin, Abraham's son in a Norwegian tradition, it's like if you're a female, it would be Abraham's daughter. If you're a male, it's Abraham's son.
Right.
He came to the U.S. and the name stuck with our family ever since.
Right. Wow. Okay. Well, yeah. Well, I mean, no. Like I was just like because I was really scared because like I was gonna when I hosted. My opening line usually is like, "Are there any Jews in the audience?" You know, so like you know, I saw Elsie. You know, I don't know. Did you put? Do you usually?
No, I just do this.
You. What do you do?
Elsie.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. Okay. That way that nobody really knows who I am.
Well,
I prefer it that way.
But yeah, it's kind of weird. Like, I don't know why. I just feel the need to see if there are any Jews in the audience. Like, because I've always said this. We're like, in this town, we're like unicorns, basically. Yeah. Like we're like these mystical beings.
I guess I kind of do the same thing with redheads, except that I don't have to ask. I can just look at people.
Yeah.
Although I have this really fun joke, and I don't know if it's like, I don't think it's insensitive.
Let's hear it.
Yeah, you're all for it.
I'm all no. If it's offensive, especially.
It's not offensive. It's great. So, although it is offensive if you have either dyed your hair red or had red hair and dyed it a different color. Because what that is, in my vocabulary, is transginger.
Oh, damn, girl. Yes. I like it.
I absolutely love calling people that, and they are mildly offended at first, but once it clicks that I said ginger, they're still usually offended because a lot of people find ginger offensive.
Okay, no,
but I love it.
You know what? I think it's fair game. That's a good joke.
Yeah, I think so. It's not like
you're not making fun. I mean, I don't think you're making fun of a whole people. Like, I mean, you're not, and it's not like, I don't know. I mean,
I think it's great.
Yeah, I think it's great too. I mean, I think that's.
I try to be extra careful about how I phrase things because I am from a small town, and I think it's important, especially if you're gonna be saying things that other people are going to hear, is to make sure that you...
Like a Christmas tree.
I just want to... I would say that,
Please continue.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry for that. I came from a really small town. I was very sheltered upbringing.
Yeah.
So there are words and vocabulary that I might not know are offensive.
Yeah.
And I remember there was a time I was at an open mic, and it was a couple weeks ago in Florida.
Oh, in Florida?
Yeah.
Wow.
And
getting around.
Yeah, it was really embarrassing, but I made a joke about growing up in northern Minnesota and going coon shining. If you know what coon shining is, if you're from northern Minnesota.
I don't know what it is, but like I can see why. I can see other people. I mean, I'm sure
we would shine a flashlight into a tree. If there's a raccoon, they freeze and you can shoot them.
Oh,
raccoons.
Okay, raccoons. No,
raccoons.
No, and the thing is, I figured as soon as you said it that it probably had a different meaning than what it could potentially.
Well, and in my sheltered life, I had never come in contact with the word. That word. With that word. Right. Being an offensive term, just because I didn't have that exposure, and so I think it's super important to realize what you're saying and like what it could mean to other people.
Right.
You know.
Absolutely. Yeah, my wife used to work in a candy store, and like there are like these, I don't know what they're like chocolate covered pralines or something like that with caramel, and they used to be. I don't know if there's some people still call them this, but it's the N-word toes, because they look like and some woman came into my wife's the candy shop that my wife worked at and asked for them by that phrasing, and my wife was basically like, I'm sorry, what did you just say? Like, I don't know if she railed into her how hard she but knowing my wife, she probably railed into her pretty hard about it, but yeah, I mean, like I don't understand how some people can think like going into a place of business and be like,
and I think especially with the N-word, like it's very common knowledge that that's not appropriate.
Yeah, exactly.
To say.
I mean, there's some words like Jewey that can totally pass, right?
Yeah, as long as you're talking about gushers or asparagus.
Asparagus. Yeah, like but not Louis C.K., right? We'll get past we'll just zip past his issues right now. But like he was saying, Jew is like to say Jew is like the only religion where like if you put a little stank on when you're saying it out, like it can mean be a mean phrase of saying it, like like you say, oh, he's a Jew, or he could be like, oh that there are Muslims, there are Christians, and they're Jews. You know what I mean? Like it's like the one religion where like if you just say the word like just a teeny bit of like disdain in it, it can just completely like you know what I mean? Like when you say He's a Jew.
Yeah.
And he's like, the Jew.
Oh, what I was going to ask you earlier.
Ooh, yes.
When I was talking about latkes.
Latkes.
Is that the right way to pronounce
Latkes,
it? Latka?
Yeah.
Okay.
Whatever.
So,
I get it.
Good.
Picking up what you're laying down.
Thanks. We read this picture book every Hanukkah.
Oh, yeah?
Called The Flying Latke.
I think my wife read that book, actually.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Oh, it just like...
Maybe I read it.
I don't know that much about Judaism, but I thought that was a great story. And I want to prove that I'm cultured.
Yeah. Well, you are very cultured. I love latkes. My wife sometimes will make sweet potato latkes, actually.
Interesting. I've never heard of that.
Yeah, neither did I. And then she did it, and then I was like, okay.
Sounds really good.
Yeah, they are. I lucked out. My wife, for not being a person who is born Jewish, like she
fully
makes some
embrace
fucking bomb ass Jewish food, like
nice.
kugel.
What's her heritage? I guess like
I think part German, part English.
Does she like carry on traditions of making food from when her family immigrated?
No.
Okay.
Not really. I mean, we both we both belong to a 12-step program for food. So like there are things. It's called. Well, I actually can't say it. The name of it. But it's a 12-step program for people who overeat.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah, but like, and a lot of traditional ethnic foods are desserty foods. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. True.
So there are what is that circle like Danish that like I'm trying to think what it's called. Whatever. But it's like a round Danish, and it's like filled with like different little flavors and stuff like that. And it's
Where
like,
do you find this magical food?
Is
it jelly though?
What?
Jelly filled?
No. Sometimes it's like cream cheese and some. Are you a vegan?
No.
Okay. All right.
I'm an everything eater.
Are you?
Yeah.
Good for you. Yeah. All right.
I mean, I don't eat very much meat because I'm scared of cooking it.
Yeah.
It's a weird fear to have.
We are on the same page.
Yeah.
Like I used to love to cook, but like it would literally take me like at least 4 hours to cook something very simple that involved meat, because I would be so scared of like chicken, like cooking it, like making sure that
I was cooking chicken once and it started bleeding, and now I've never cooked chicken again.
That's a smart move.
No, I'm terrified.
It's like something out of a horror movie.
At the same time, like I don't like a lot of red meat. I can't stand the like flavor of pork unless it's smoked. So I like ham and bacon.
Yeah.
But pork roast, pork chops, anything like that makes me nauseous.
My wife won't kiss me if I eat pork.
Yeah.
I have
well, you
to,
can't eat pork, right?
Well, I can, and I do, but I can't.
Right. Okay.
It's kind of funny how I can adhere to the whole tattoo thing, but yet when it comes to pork,
well, as long as you don't tell them at your funeral that you ate pork,
right.
They'll bury it. As long as you don't eat it right before you die, as long as it's out of your system, you can still be buried.
Yeah, I know. Like, it's not like I'm gonna make a bowel movement on the like when they bury me.
You don't know.
That's true. You really
and if it's still in your body, that means it's gonna go into the earth, and you can't put that kind of unclean anything into the ground.
And I don't know if you know about Judaism, but like we do not embalm at all.
Really?
Yeah, you have to be buried within like 3 days. 2 or 3 days.
Interesting.
Yeah, whereas like you got like not you guys.
You don't even know my religion.
Yeah, I don't know your religion, but I really don't. But no, like I know that people who are not Jewish, like they'll wait like a month.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, and I'll be like, how does that work? Because I've been to funerals and I've seen like open caskets, and I'm just like,
you better plug it in.
Nah, it's alright. It's a virus thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like I've been like to open caskets, and I'm just like
very confused.
It's very what?
Were you very confused?
I
at
was
first?
confused and like mortified, so to speak.
Mm-hmm.
Get it? Mort, death. Get it? Yeah. I was no.
So, could a Jewish person be a mortician if they were embalming other bodies? Come on, I have so many questions.
I know. I guess they could. I mean, we definitely will give you a good deal on a casket. It's so bad.
I mean,
God. I
here's the thing, though. Here's the thing.
What?
you're not Christian, and Jesus is the one who grew up in the carpentry family. So we would be the best at making the caskets.
It's true.
Now I gave away that I'm Christian. But.
Oh. I kind of got that you were Christian because I happened to lurk as well on Facebook. And I was trying to do a little research on it. I was like, what can I do to open this thing? So, and like I saw you, and I was talking to my friend. I said, well, she's Christian. And like, and I was talking, I don't know if it was Drew or if it was Trevor. I've lost track, but I was saying that there's like a very big distinction between when somebody says I'm Christian and then they say I'm a Christian. I feel like when they say I'm a Christian, like they're singling themselves out. They're really Christian. Whereas when like somebody says I'm Christian, it's kind of like that's
I believe in Christ.
Yeah, exactly. But like when they say I'm a Christian, like they're like hardcore. Like you're gonna get stoned if you lay with another's wife or something like that. But you probably should be anyway. I mean, that's kind of a dick move anyway.
Yeah,
but
it's
anyway,
kind of rude.
It is.
It's very like. Yeah. It's not good to lay with other people's wives. As far as I know, I don't know. I don't have a wife.
Yeah, it's not.
So I wouldn't have that firsthand experience. Yeah.
No,
I am relatively religious though.
Are you?
Yeah.
Well, and that's the thing. I saw the picture. There's a picture of you in a church, and there was a cross, and I was like, yep, she's Christian.
Crosses usually signify that.
She's not Jewish after all. All right, she's not Jewey.
No, I'm not Jewey.
Yeah, so that's. I think we've nailed the name of this episode.
Jewey?
The Jewey episode.
That's great. I love it.
Isn't it great? I always try and with my guests, I always try to figure out the name of the episode. Like one episode, like with Esther, like we were trying to think what should we name it, because we get onto really dark topics. Mm-hmm. So I was like, how about, and then it got dark, and she was like, that's great, So yeah, I think we just figured out the name of our episode.
Perfect.
Yeah. So, gosh.
Or it could be 50% Jewey.
50% less Jewey.
Yeah, I like that. That's great.
I'm writing it down. Right. Yeah.
See, good thing you have the pen right next to the scissors.
My wife will probably be like, that's my pad. 50% less. I'm writing it Jewey.
Oh, you're left-handed.
I am left-handed.
I just gave that away.
No, that's all right.
Are you allowed to be left-handed as a Jew? I don't think so. I have the same Old Testament. Like my Old Testament is your. Yeah. What are your Jewish writings? Torah. That's right.
Jewish things.
Your writings. I said
they're
writings.
Called circumcisions, but just kidding. I went there, didn't I?
Yeah, you really went there.
Yeah.
But no, so I am somewhat familiar with your teachings, and I don't think it says anything about left-handedness.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, here's the thing. I used to be ambidextrous, believe it or not, before I got my Guillain-Barré syndrome, and then I somehow or another they thought it was they were like, just pick a fucking hand, and so
you could only train one.
Yeah, exactly. No, and
you chose left-handed.
I didn't. No, trust me.
I just feel like the only unfortunate thing about left-handedness is having to write on marker boards, and in general because your hand smears, and you need to see, because you're Jewish Hebrew, right? Yeah. So it goes that way, left-handed. Maybe Jews are supposed to be left-handed.
Maybe Jews.
I just had breakdown.
Holy fuck! Jeez, wow. Can I say Jesus to you? Well, you've already said Jesus a few times. So. Well, you said you're not.
I haven't said it.
You haven't said it. No.
You better re-listen to the episode.
I'm gonna have to re-listen to the episode. I'll probably have to do a little
tweaking.
Actually, this may be the perfect episode.
Wow.
I think this is the record for the length of an episode is an hour and 40 minutes. Mm. We're not gonna go that far.
Yeah, I have to go pretty soon.
You're going pretty soon. Yeah. So. So we'll close it with last thoughts. Like if as far as stand-up comedy, which we've really not talked that much about.
Oh yeah.
What would you like? What would you say to somebody who's an aspiring stand-up?
I would say do it often, because you can't improve something like comedy because it is a performance. It's not something you can necessarily practice. You have to say something to a crowd to be able to read a crowd's reaction. Mm-hmm. I would say record, even if it's just audio record, all of your sets. Every time you perform, audio record. Listen to it back. I know you'll hate the sound of your voice. I can't stand the sound of my voice. But, and that's, I think, normal human thing. But the more you work on something, like the more often you do it, you can improve faster.
Right.
And I think you'll improve more each time if you're doing it more often, because if you're waiting like a month between times you go up on stage, you're not gonna, you won't be able to make the changes in the right areas as quick as you want to. If you go up on stage and you record it and you listen to it back and you say, this is the good part, this is the good part, this is the good part, this is the part where I lost a couple people, this is the part where I had awkward silence, I could rephrase this part, I could rephrase that part, and then I don't know if you're a writer down or just be able to logically think about it, but as soon as you have that and then you make those corrections, then next time you go up on stage, you have those corrections already in place, and then you can see what works and doesn't work. And I would say, don't give up on your material right away. Yeah. Because there's like adding tags, adding little this and that. Right. It's just the only way you can improve is to do it again, because you can't just say it to an empty wall and get a reaction.
Yeah. I do have a question, though.
Yeah.
Do you think Jews have a good chance in a future in stand-up comedy?
Well, because they are a minority, I would say yes. I think that it's probably, one of the things that minorities can do that people in majority position cannot is punch sideways, right?
Right.
So because of, what's the word? Oppression, I suppose.
Yeah.
You have more stuff to joke about. Harder life equals better jokes, right?
Right. Absolutely.
And if Jews have harder lives, then they're going to be able to have better jokes.
All right, ladies and germs. That was Elsie Abrahamson, and wow, that was a fucking fantastic, fun interview. Great chat. Wow, I'm just floored that she was actually able to pick up my dog. Like I'm like choking up just thinking about it. Like she's like the sweetest person on earth. She's gonna be a fucking saint at some point, you know. But yeah, no, this was a great episode. I really had just an amazing time, and I really appreciated her ability to calm my fucking dog down, and also just her generosity as far as just being so sweet and just honest, and she's what a kind soul, just absolutely brilliant and kind and funny and witty soul. And I don't have much else to talk about other than that I'm just like I feel like a proud papa. Like my dog is growing up, except he barked at her nearly at least 3 times before she left the house. Anyway, but he's, you know, progress, not perfection. You know, we do this one day at a time.
Neuronymous.